I'm Polly Pattullo, the publisher of Papillote Press, and I'm here in Dominica, often known as the Nature Island of the Caribbean. Dominica is also the second home of Papillote Press. Welcome to this edition of On Papillote. Here is Riff, the just published biography of Shake Keane by Philip Nanton. Both author and subject were born and raised in St Vincent. Shake Keane was an award-winning poet and a groundbreaking jazz musician who made an important contribution to the arts in London in particular in the mid-20th century. I wanted to publish this book because it seems to me it explores very well the complex relationship between migration and the arts at a particularly significant time in Caribbean history. Here is Philip Nanton to read an evocative extract from Riff, in which he and Shake Keane meet in a bar in Kingstown, St Vincent. You will enjoy.
Hello, Phil Nanton here. This is my third book with Papillote Press. It's called Riff, the Shake Keane Story, and I want to read from the first chapter, which is called V's Snacket. Shake Keane was back in St Vincent working as a teacher when I first met him in 1979. In his lunch hour, we would occasionally retreat to the quiet of V's Snacket, a tiny bar on the corner of busy Bay and James Street in the island's capital, Kingstown. Miss V, a sturdy, no-nonsense lady, would put out a petty-quart bottle of rum and a small bowl of ice for me. Shake's lunch comprised 3 bottles of Guinness. She would then leave us alone as she scurried around in a back room. We exchanged returnee gossip about life in England of the 1960s and the effect of coming back to St Vincent. By this time, Shake was skeptical about his return. He had abandoned a flourishing jazz career in Europe and lost out to political manoeuvring in St Vincent over the post he most wanted and had returned to implement, Director of Culture in St Vincent and the Grenadines. Shake was by then in his early 50s, tall and broad, around 6'4" and somewhat shaggy in appearance. His size was emphasized by his characteristic loose-fitting clothes above brown lattice leather sandals. By this time, he had a luxuriant grey beard and a thinning head of hair. He moved slowly when the pain of gout struck. A large pair of spectacles rested on his nose below heavy grey eyebrows. Between his long fingernails, he invariably held a rolled-up cigarette. He spoke in a deep, baritone voice. This apparently fierce demeanour was softened in conversation by an unassuming smile that came quick and easily. V's Snacket looked directly onto the street. Passers-by would see him there and hail the famous musician and returned fellow Vincentian. A celebrated figure in the island, he was used to this public show of interest and would often be stopped in the street. A brief chat was a public sign of connection to a man of international stardom. One lunchtime, a young stevedore, hot and sweaty from the nearby docks, entered the bar. Mr. Keane, excuse me, sir, I have one, sir. Don't mind the clothes all ragga, sir. I just off the jetty. You could hear me, sir? This one go be good. It goes so. I was liming on the block with the boys from the rum shop. Is then a bounce of Big Mary. Them days she franning Big Nancy. Okay, pal. Enough. It have plenty more verses, sir. You like how it going? You could help me fix it up sweet. Put a little chorus. Get recording contract and thing. Or even a little drink then, sir. Me throat dry. Shake bought him the drink.